Let me repeat my name. I am Dickson Karanja. I'm a high school teacher here in Kenya, in the island or coastal town of Mombasa. In fact, Indian Ocean is just 5 minutes away from here. And between us and you people in India is the Indian Ocean. So I am also an ICT expert. I also a motivational speaker and an instructional teacher coach where I train teachers on various pedagogical methods that are supposed to apply in classroom. That is from lesson preparation, lesson delivery, and feedback. Nowadays, we have CBC, the National New Education Curriculum in our school, and now I am one of the trainers that we train CBC teachers in order for them to deliver the lessons well, because it's a new curriculum in our country, and we have been retooling our CBC teachers. I'm also a Microsoft Innovator Educator expert. And yeah, that's all I can say about myself.
Hello, sir. I am Husnia. Nice to meet you, sir.
Me too.
I am glad to meet you today, sir. May I ask you a question?
Yes.
How does the government ensure that teachers are well trained and equipped to deliver the national curriculum effectively?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. That was question number 2. How does the government ensure that teachers are well trained and equipped to deliver the national curriculum effectively? I guess that's the question. And
Yes.
Our government, that is the government of Kenya, has put in various ways to ensure that, one, teachers are competent. Secondly, they are well prepared to effectively deliver the national curriculum. Number 1, we have what we call the pre-service teacher training, whereby we have teachers training institutions where teachers are well trained in these teachers' colleges, and they offer degrees and other certificates on knowledge in pedagogy, subject content, and the competency-based curriculum. And also we have the teacher certification, where students graduating will be at a standard to be certified by TSC. In Kenya, the body that employs teachers is called the Teacher Service Commission, and they can be absorbed by the commission into the job market as teachers. So the second point is continuous professional development. Nowadays in our country, I think from 2017 or there, we have the continuous professional development that is very regular in our institution or in our country. And our commission has compelled the necessity of continuous professional development, that regular development of competencies will lead to upscaling of skills for current trends in education. Because the education, nowadays we have the current trend in education, for example, the CBC. So the teachers are trained to have the necessary skills in order to cope with the trend. We have the curriculum training and retraining. This CBC is a new curriculum in our institution, and we have a government institution like KICD. KICD means Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, and TSC has been conducting CBC training countrywide. As I told you that I one of the trainers, I was trained to train CBC teachers in order to give them skills and the competencies required in order to implement the new curriculum. So we have subject specific training. Teachers undergo periodic retooling to ensure their teaching practices conform to the dynamics of the curriculum changes. These are often done either during April holiday, August holiday, and December holiday. That is when the retooling is done. Then we have the government supports the integration of ICT. So we have various programs where teachers are equipped with digital tools and trained in the use of technology for lesson preparation, delivery, and student engagement. Nowadays, we have the AI, where we use AI for lesson preparation and also to help us to get the necessary lesson, what we call class activity, the activities and teaching experiences that are required in order for the teacher to develop and to implement the lesson effectively. Number 5, we have specialized training for teachers. I talked about CBC retooling. Number 6, we have in-service support for teachers, where school-based programs provide support to teachers through mentoring, coaching, and school-based CBT sections. And I'm one of them also. I do teacher coaching. I mentor teachers on the lesson delivery and all the pedagogical areas, methods that they require. Also, we have the quality assurance standards officers. I don't know whether in India we have the quality assurance standards and officer, where they ensure that teachers implement curriculum in their stations or in their schools. And then we have bodies like KICD. Again, it comes in to give teachers or to provide teaching aids. That is textbooks, teacher's guide, and digital content, and assist teachers in effective delivery of the curriculum. Then we have the 9th one, specialized program leadership roles. Leadership and management training is also provided for teachers who would like to assume administrative roles in schools. So we have the head teachers, the dean of studies, and other, or the HODs also. And then the most important thing is stakeholders consultation, where the government work together with other stakeholders, such as Microsoft, UNICEF, and the World Bank. In fact, here in Kenya, the World Bank has sponsored a lot of teachers training programs. When it comes to CBC retooling and other training programs, the World Bank has funded our government or in order to ensure that teachers are trained well and prepared for curriculum implementation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Hello, sir. I'm Nitika, and I an 8th grader from UPHS School, Alvaram. I am so lucky to interact with you, sir. Here, I would like to ask you a question, sir. Can I ask you?
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
What initiatives has the National Environment Management Authority implemented to promote sustainable waste management practices in Kenya?
Okay. That's a very nice question. And that's the question of National Environment Management Authority. In short form, we call it NEMA. So it has implemented several initiatives to promote sustainable waste management practices. And these practices measures are, we have the policy and legal framework development, where National Solid Waste Management Strategy of 2015 is aimed at guiding sustainable waste management practices through the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. You reduce the wastage, where necessary you reuse, and you recycle. Then we have the plastic waste management. In Kenya, the plastic bag carriers were banned in 2017. And this has reduced greatly the pollution that was caused by those plastic carrier bags. And the ban on single use of plastics in protected areas, we have the policy of 2020, and we have prohibition of items such as bottles, plastic bottles, and straws in national parks, forests, and beaches, and other protected areas. So in our national parks, you can be arrested if you throw a plastic paper bag there or a plastic bottle because the wild animals, they consume it and then they die. So that is one way in which it has helped us to conserve our wild animals. Then waste segregation and recycling. I think this happens in almost all the countries. And the most important thing is the capacity building and public awareness, where the government or NEMA has been conducting public awareness and campaigns on proper waste management, because people have a problem with the disposal of waste products. People throwing out on the road plastics or other wastage. So it required the NEMA to conduct public awareness and campaigns on the importance of proper waste disposal and management. Then we have e-waste management, development of national e-waste management guidelines, which addresses the disposal of recycling electronic waste. And then we have licensing and monitoring of e-waste collection centers and recycling facilities. So we have the county collaboration. In Kenya now we have the county government. I don't know whether in India you have the regional governments, or I don't know how you call them. Here we call them the county governments. So the national government and the county government through NEMA, they partner with these county governments to implement decentralization of waste management system and policies. And then we have the promotion of circular economy. This is encouraging business to adopt circular economy principles where waste is minimized and materials are reused. So incentivizing green enterprises and eco-friendly waste management innovation. I think that was the last point there. And
Yes.
we have the monitoring. Yeah, sorry, we have one more point. Monitoring and enforcement. Monitoring means NEMA monitors. They send officers in towns and in rural areas, in game parks, to ensure that these policies of waste management are adhered to. And if you violate any one of them, you risk to be arrested and taken to jail. Thank you.
Yes, and
Thank you very much.
so I have to appreciate your local government and the local, central government and local government for taking this big initiative of minimizing this ever-growing problem of plastic waste. But in India, it is still uncontrollable. And even though the government has been appealing the people not to use the single use of plastic, but the use of plastic is unabated and everywhere. And so there is no control over the use of the plastic carry bags, plastic bottles. And if you see, the streets are littered, truly littered with these bottles and all these things. And I have a question: how has your local government and the central government been successfully implementing this rule of motivating the people not to use the plastic, and how successfully it is being implemented?
Okay. Also, in our country, it's very hard for the government to prevent people from doing the wrong things. But what the government did, it banned the industries that produce that they manufacture plastic carrier bags. That is where they started. Then they banned the importation. You cannot import plastic carrier bags in our country. So it cut off the source. Then we have NEMA officers who goes around in shops and business premises. If you are found using those plastic carrier bags to package your products, then you risk being arrested. That is where it is the government, that was the success part of the government and the national government. So today in our country, we don't use plastic carrier bags at all. They are not there.
That's absolutely amazing achievement. So, what is the alternative for the plastic? What are the alternatives that the people are using, replacing the plastic? Is there any other alternative?
Yeah, we have some carrier bags
Yes.
that are disposable.
Mm-hmm.
That are disposable. They cannot. They cannot. They when you throw them away, they can get disposed. They can decay. They can
Yes.
decay. We have them. The government introduced them. The eco-friendly carrier bags.
Mm-hmm.
They are made from materials that can decay when they are. Yeah. They
So,
don't produce.
yes, I think India has to learn a lot from you. I think we have to learn a lot from the success that your government is making or doing in implementing this particular rule. And after this slideshow, I request you to show those alternatives if you have at home, so that
I
can, because right
I
now
can.
there are slides are there, slides are running. So after slides, we can see what is that alternative that you are using.
I have one here. This one.
Yeah, yes. We have
This
actually.
one.
Yes, we have. Yeah, cloth like material. Yes.
Yeah. So that's the what we are now using today.
That's great. Okay, Farhat, over to you.
Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Hello.
My name is Fahad Tabsum. I am an 8th grader from JPH School, Ailavaram. I would like to ask a question. Can I ask, sir? How has the competency-based curriculum impacted student learning and outcomes since its introduction in 2017?
The slides. This is the question. How has the competency-based curriculum impacted students' learning and outcomes since its introduction in 2017? Let me start by saying that when CBC, the new curriculum, was introduced in our country, we didn't think that it would be a success, but it came in as a game changer. We have the current, although now the current system, the old system is now, it is in Form 2. So in the next 2 years, we shall do away with the old system, where we mainly base it on exams. It's an exam-oriented kind of a system. But CBC has the competencies, the core competencies. And these core competencies are the ones that are implemented. So CBC was introduced in 2017, and it brought enormous change in the way the students learned and achieved. So, number one, holistic development of learner. CBC focuses on the practical skills. Practical skills, where students apply these skills in real life situations. It also focuses on the problem solving, collaboration, and critical thinking. That is number one. Now, CBC, it nurtures talents of the learners, because students are also given a chance to nurture their talents in sports, in arts, and even in entrepreneurship for all-rounded growth. Now, also CBC has brought the improved engagement and innovativeness, which lacked before, because it enhances active participation by learners through, one, project-based learning and group activities, through collaboration, communication and collaboration. Learners participate in problem identification and solution in finding in their communities, which makes education relevant to their environment. Because in CBC, you connect what you are teaching in class with outside. what is happening outside. So this brings improved engagement and innovativeness on the learner's side. Then we have what we call personalized learning. In old system, parents were not involved in learning. But with CBC, parental involvement ensures collaboration in education and therefore personalization. Because CBC caters mainly on the need of the learner, strength of the learner, and the interest of the learner as an individual, not as a group. The needs, the strength, and the interest of the learner as an individual. Now, there was a very great shift in assessment. The old system only focused on exams. It was an exams-based curriculum. We had the class 8 exams, which students transitions to high school. Then from high school, 4 years, you do a major exam there. Then if you pass that exam, you transition to college. But now with the kind of the assessment that is in CBC, it is a continuous assessment. So there is no one main exam that the learners do. It's just continuous assessment. So this approach provides more valid measures of learners' competencies and gaps in their learning. Then CBC brought improved teacher-learner relationship, where teacher becomes a facilitator, not as a teacher, but as a facilitator. So that making the classroom atmosphere friendlier and more supportive on the learner's side. Then we have development of lifelong learning skills, which lacked in the old curriculum, because CBC focuses on the 21st century skills, such as digital literacy, communication, and adaptability, which will help students to face future challenges and opportunities. So, but I will just mention just within 30 seconds about the challenges that we have in implementing CBC. One, we have the resource gap, because the new curriculum required new infrastructure, labs for junior schools, then teacher training. I've told you that we have been training teachers. It got teachers unawares, and then we had to train the teachers, and then the parental burden that was there, that has been, now parents are involved in learning of the learners. But we have the outcomes. Today we have students which are more competent, students who are more creative and autonomous learners. And now we have shifted from the performance in exam to competence application of knowledge. So equipping learners with both academic and non-academic success in their communities and future careers. Yeah, those are the outcomes of implementation of CBC.
How different it is, the system. You have already explained to me. Give me one instance where the student has made real progress based on this present system that you have.
Okay. This, if I got you right, this system or the CBC, today students, we have the 21st century learners. So with the introduction of digital literacy, we have prepared these learners, or we have prepared this learner for future job positions. Because in this world, we need learners who are digital literacy. For example, in my own case, I normally train students on digital literacy. And one of the learner, after finishing school, he did not proceed, but he went ahead and opened a bureau service. With the knowledge that I have trained him, he never went to college. And today he owns a cyber cafe where he provides the bureau services, printing, internet services, government services, with the little knowledge that I taught him in school. So for me, It's a game changer.
Absolutely, I do agree with you.
Fine. And you, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you, sir. Hello, sir. My name is Mamata Yanati from JPHS School, Elavaram. I would like to ask you a question, sir. Can I ask?
Yeah, you can. Go ahead.
How does the Kenyan education system address the challenges of teenage pregnancy, truants, and drug abuse among students?
Is that the question? How
Yes,
does
yes.
the Kenyan education system address the challenges of teenage pregnancy, truancy, and drug abuse among our students? In our country, it's very true. Due to our cultural activities and beliefs, we have some communities where they encourage teenage pregnancy, where some of the girls are married very early, before they reach 18 years. They are married and they get pregnant and they get children. Also, we have the issue of truancy, where a student misses school because of various reasons. For example, lack of school fees. We have students who come from very humble background. We have orphans. Nobody can pay school fees for them. And also drug abuse. In our country, for example, in our coastal town here in Mombasa, drug abuse is real. Young men, young women on the beach, they abuse these drugs. You find them on the beach. They get these drugs at a very cheap way, and then they drop out of school. So these three problems are real in our society. So how have the Kenya government tried to how have the government solved these issues? One, we have the policy intervention, and then we have the re-entry policy, where the Ministry of Education has accommodated pregnant learners to re-enter school after delivery to continue with their studies. Before, if a teenage got pregnant and they were chased away from school. But today, these young mothers, after delivery, after getting their children, they are readmitted back to school unconditionally, and then they continue with their education. So we have also awareness and education program, where sexual reproductive health education is integrated in our curriculum, where teachers teach our students on sexual and reproductive health and the dangers that one can have for a young person to have a relationship. That is the dangers that it is there. Then we have anti-drug abuse campaign. We have various government organizations, others NGOs, NGOs that goes around with anti-drugs campaign. And we have in our country, we have NACADA, National Authority for Campaign Against Alcohol and Drug Abuse, where schools collaborate with NACADA in education of students against drug abuse. Then we have life skill education enhancement programs such as life skills. Nowadays we have life skills in our schools, teach students decision making, critical thinking, and self-awareness that enable them to resist peer pressure and other risky behaviors. Because you agree to me, you'll agree that some of these students get into this problem, into drugs, because of peer pressure. So we have life skill education enhancement. We have early warning system, where teachers are trained to identify early warning signs of drug abuse, pregnancy, and truancy for the appropriate intervention. Then we have legal administrative measures. We have what we call child protection laws. Then in our country, we have zero tolerance to drugs. Schools have strict rules relating to the possession and use of drugs within the school premises, and the students are warned. Then we have the care for the vulnerable students, bursaries and scholarship. We have bursaries and scholarship, grants where students are given bursaries and scholarship to continue with the learning. Then we have a very important program that the government started, school feeding program. Now, some schools, especially most of them, offer meals just to keep children attending as a way of minimizing absenteeism. Especially schools in slum areas, students come to school to eat. So that's a way of inviting the students to school, and the government have started these school feeding programs. Now, we have challenges toward those solutions, and these efforts are not without their challenges. For example, funding, cultural issues, and shortage of professional counselors. To change people from what they believe in their culture is very difficult, because we have tribes here in Kenya that they, what do we call it? They marry their children at a young stage. So it is very difficult for the government to stop some of these traditional practices. But all in all, the government has enforced completely. But soon, and I mean very soon, we shall not have these early marriages.
Okay, thank you so much for giving us again a complete analysis about this particular issue. And here is the last question. Gayatri, over to you.
Hello, sir.
Hello, how are you?
I am fine, sir. My name is Gayatri Salvi. I am studying 7th grade. Can I ask one question, sir?
Yeah, go ahead.
What measures are in place to support students from disadvantaged backgrounds in accessing quality education in Kenya?
Okay. That is the question. The measures that are in place to support students from disadvantaged background in assessing quality education in Kenya. Number one, in 2020, I think it was 2002, the government introduced free primary education and later subsidized secondary education. In our country, day schools are free. Day schools are absolutely, they are free. So these were introduced in 2003 and 2008 respectively, where students attend schools without paying school fees. Then we have school feeding programs. As I had mentioned earlier, in our country, we have children who come from very humble background. Others, they come from very harsh. I don't know whether in India, we have semi-arid regions. Students who come from semi-arid regions, they suffer, they lack food. So in arid and marginalized region, schools feeding program ensures that the enrollment and retention are attained through food provision. So students are given free food. Also, we have scholarship and bursaries. The government, through CDF, give bursaries to our students. Also, in our country, we have very many NGOs that give scholarship to our students. Then we have infrastructural development. Some schools lack classrooms, science lab. So the government has come in to ensure that all the schools in our country have laboratories and have good classrooms. Then we have affirmative action for marginalized lands areas. Students who come from areas that are considered marginalized, for example, arid areas, obtain lower cut-off points to national school. So if a student in other areas, they are being admitted to national school, for example, with 400 marks minimum, students from these regions, which are disadvantaged, the cut-off points is lowered, and they can join national school even with 300 marks. Then the government has introduced or has encouraged technology integration and digital learning. Schools have been provided with computers by the government, Primary schools have been provided with laptops where programs, learners can learn digital literacy. We have special needs education. The government support learners with special needs through special schools. In Kenya, we have special schools for special needs learners, for needy learners. Then we have capitation grants. Government send to school money per child in order for that child to be educated. And then we have community and religious support. Communities, various community-based organizations and churches. Here in Kenya, we have churches and even who pay school fees for our kids. Yeah, that is it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Now, may I request you to stop sharing so that we can wind up this session? Yeah, I think in my opinion, in my observation, actually, I like two aspects considered to be very impressive for me. One is waste management system that is successfully being implemented in our country. So another one is competency-based education system. So the way that you narrated, the way that you presented it to us, in fact, is so impressive, so appealing to us.
Okay. I would like to tell your students that God has given them this chance and opportunity to go to school and learn and prepare themselves for future job opportunities. Low performance does not mean that you're not going to succeed in your life. Try your best to listen to your parents, to listen to your teachers, follow the instructions given, and you will succeed. I always say that 30%, or it is said that 30% of the success of the student is gained through discipline. If you are disciplined, then automatically you have 30% of your success. And always remember to put God ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presence. Literally speaking, I enjoyed every moment of this session. Thank you so much.